Can you talk about your first spiritual experience that you mentioned in the book? Can you also read out that passage?
Discover the newest books from our collection: The Heart of Everything, a spiritual memoir, and Abhinava Vijayam, a dharmic magnum opus, both written by a gifted author, Kanchi.
All of this changed in a moment. I remember nothing from that day except that I was walking back from school. Maybe I was 11 or 12 and I was passing by an ancient Shiva temple that I frequented now and then. As always, I was walking a little faster near the temple because I didn't want to see God. As I was walking past, a simple realization arose in me that I was not this person, that this body wasn't me. I just realized this is something else. I wasn't this, I wasn't the body. I wasn't a person at all. I am something different. This form, this limited form wasn't me at all. This body was something other than me. I was that, the one who was watching. Untouched by this body, untouched by the world. There's more, but I think I'll stop here. So it wasn't so much of a spiritual experience at all. It was more of a sudden realization or a sudden discovery. Like I felt like, oh shit, I suddenly felt like I wasn't this person. So everybody was, people call me Kanchi, all that. In school, everyone's saying Kanchi, Kanchi, and all of these. But suddenly I felt like I wasn't this individual who is Kanchi. I wasn't this person who people refer to as Kanchi. The body felt very alien to me. And all of this didn't happen. It was just a sudden, you can say realization or a sudden awakening. But it wasn't like what they would call a, I don't know if this was what you call a spiritual awakening or something like that. Because it didn't feel special. It didn't feel like it was something extraordinary. It felt very natural. Like I was mistaken all these years. I had mistaken myself to be a person, an individual with hands and feet and all that. And suddenly the idea of identifying myself as a person seemed very unnatural. How could I be just this? Because what I was experiencing or what I was witnessing was the whole. Like it was like a mass of consciousness. It was just consciousness. So it wasn't just like ideas arising in me and falling in me. So it wasn't like the idea of I am Kanchi, I am this person. This idea is coming and going, right? So no longer could I accept that as reality. That's all happened. So it wasn't like any big blast of nothing happened as such.
But so when this happened, when you were still a kid, and was the experience so strong and convincing that you didn't need any validation? Because normally when something like this happens and you're still young, you would probably ask someone that I'm experiencing this, is this right or wrong? But was it so strong or in you that you didn't need to, or did it happen that you had to go and talk to your grandfather or somebody who you look up to?
See, I knew by then that nobody can explain this to me. Like I didn't know where to find answers because I knew it wasn't like I needed to confirm this, that I am not a person, I am not a body, I am not this identity. I didn't need any confirmation whatsoever. I just knew that I am as I am. I am this consciousness, or I am. It was not even like I didn't know these words: awareness, consciousness, awakening. I didn't even know this as something called enlightenment or anything. It was just I am not this body. This discovery. What self-discovery you can say. It was just like I am not this body. No, it cannot be me. It was just like, yeah, I am for some time or for living in this world, I am identifying as this body. or I am carrying this body
There was no
around.
doubt about it. You didn't have any doubts.
Nothing at all. Absolutely nothing. What doubt can you have? Once you know, you know. Like I was like people know me as Kanchi, or I know I'm Kanchi. For example, my name is Kanchi. I don't have doubts. I don't need anyone to confirm this for me. As soon as someone says Kanchi, I will respond, right? So that is the name. But I know the similarly. As soon as I saw it, I knew this is natural form. This is natural. This is how it is. But I didn't know what it is, and even like there is nothing to do with it. It is not something you can like hold on to, or it's not something you can build on, or market and sell or something. There's nothing. It's nothing. So it has no intrinsic value, so to say, but it is our intrinsic nature. It was like that. So you cannot even call it a spiritual experience, or I cannot even say that me walking next to this Kadamaleshwara temple was the reason Shiva did something, or you cannot uh, you cannot find a cause for this. Like it was just the way it was, and yeah, so that was the experience, and it, it changed me, like it made me a little more introverted. That is the only maybe difference, where because even in during activity I would suddenly look at myself and go into that silence. So that was the only thing. Nothing else changed. I was still my habit patterns, most of it continued, but just that it made me slightly introverted, not in behavior, but my mindset. My mind turned inward, so to say. So it would, the way we look at the world and we are witnessing the world, the mind turned inward, and I would witness myself. And I don't know if this was of any value, but this is what changed. And you cannot say it was then. That simmering awareness was always there, but I kind of discovered very clearly as I was walking past the temple.
But so this happened naturally to you, like you weren't seeking this experience, but it happened. Now, but there are people who want to experience things or want to realize this, but it doesn't happen naturally to them. So how do they go about it, or what approach should they take then?
So reverse engineer it. So I can say it happened naturally, and then I turned inward. So when you turn inward, you can find it. You have to reverse engineer it. So the idea is introversion of mind. The mind has to turn back on itself and witness the seer, witness the one who is speaking, or the one who is seeing the experience, the experiencer. So the mind has to turn. So instead of extroverting the mind and looking for answers outside, we have to turn the mind inward and look at the source of this awareness. Look at the source of this seeking, this watching. The seer has to be seen. So I would say that is the way, and there's no other way. There's no books, nothing can give you another way. You have to turn your mind inward and see the seer, or seeing the seer is becoming the seer, is knowing that you are the seer. You are only that. So there is no, like, you don't achieve anything. You, not just me, everybody is.
So you're saying even if it doesn't happen naturally, but with constant practice, you can achieve that, or you can experience.
See, the mind, when the mind goes silent, by some reason it will go silent suddenly, or the mind turns inward. In these kind of moments, you will get a glimpse of that self. So in the morning, suddenly when you're woken up with a jolt, suddenly you wake up, and the world does not come immediately. There is a gap, maybe a second, or a millisecond. But in that gap, before the world comes to you, there is that space where you're up and the world has not arisen. So in that state also, you will see that you are, like as you are. You're not affected by the world. Similarly, in deep sleep, people are in shock. You can experience this. So there are, every human being would have experienced that, or in joy. Suddenly you're ecstatic. In that ecstasy, in that excitement, also the mind goes silent. Or in even sorrow, in so many different highs and lows in life, there are times when we experience. for a brief moment, maybe just a very, like a brief moment, we will see the self. No man can say, I don't know the self. The problem is happening because we are identifying the self with the body. Saying this body is I am this body, or I am this person. And we are so deeply identified with it that, we kind of lose track of who we actually are.